Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. The story begins with the Green Lantern towing the Justice League's ship because they ran out of fuel. When they arrived on Earth, they were greeted by Batman. He said everything was calm until they arrived. Superman smiled at his joke and everyone prepared to land on the deck of the Justice League tower. But before they could do so, there happened a huge explosion on Earth. This explosion was made of pure energy and caused such a large shockwave that the heroes fell inside the ship. The Green Lantern had to work hard to protect them with the force field of his ring, and after everyone recovered, they realized that the Justice League tower had just disappeared and Batman wasn't responding to the communicator. The Martian Manhunter tracked the planet and realized that Batman had simply vanished. The tower was gone as well. The Green Lantern took all the superheroes to the surface of the planet, and nobody understands how everything could have disappeared like that. The Martian Manhunter wants to track down the energy source of this explosion that made everything disappear, and they quickly arrived at the city. They were surprised because everything is completely different. That's the city of Metropolis, but there are photos of a man scattered throughout the city. Apart from that, the entire structure of the place seems to have been greatly improved. The Flash ran around and grabbed a photo of this man. They don't know who he is. And suddenly, the police arrived to talk to them. The man demanded that the superheroes showed their identities, but since they don't have any kind of documents, the police decided to arrest them. Hawkgirl wants to know what crimes they committed. However, the policeman didn't want to talk to them, and the superheroes had to defend themselves. After the first one of them fell, the other used a kind of flare to call for help from his other colleagues. The Green Lantern defended the superheroes from the shots fired by them, and soon, many other ships arrived to fight the superheroes. The combat was widespread. When more ships arrived to destroy them, a man very similar to Batman appeared and called the superheroes to join him. They all entered the sewer, where the man already had a kind of train prepared to take them out of there. This train went through a secret passage and went straight to the man's hideout. The Flash thinks he's the Batman and wants to ask him some questions, but this man is not Batman and he has an army with him. The man himself then asks, who are these superheroes? He says that the Resistance could benefit from their presence, but firstly, they need to prove they can be trusted. The Green Lantern can hardly believe his words. They've known each other for years, but this Batman says he must be confusing him with someone else. Superman takes the weapon from his hands and says that if he wanted to, he could have destroyed him a long time ago. Realizing that was true, the man decided to talk. He told them that the agents of this government's army invaded his house when he was 8 years old and eliminated his parents. That was because they had the courage to speak against the regime. This kind of thing happens every day, and that's why this man created the Resistance. They are orphans and people from other countries who have joined together to fight for a good cause. Green Lantern asks how long this regime has been going on, and Batman says it's been since World War II. The Flash thinks that's impossible. After all, the United States won that war, but Batman says that no, in fact, the Germans won. The Green Lantern also insists that this is crazy because the Allies invaded Europe on D-Day, but Batman told him that D-Day was a failure. The Allied troops were completely annihilated, and all the superheroes began to think that this was caused by the disturbance they saw when they arrived on planet Earth. But why weren't they affected? Perhaps the aura projected by the Green Lantern's ring protected everyone. Superman asks Batman if he had detected any major electromagnetic disturbances recently, and he says they had some problems with their communication system. After some analysis, according to the data, Batman arrived with the superheroes at the place that was supposedly the source of these disturbances. It was the research center of Vandal Savage. The Green Lantern didn't know who that man was, and Batman could hardly believe it. Vandal Savage is everything. He's the one Batman has been fighting against all these years. He's the only dictator of this world, responsible for that repressive regime. All the heroes then invaded the place to investigate what was happening, and the Martian Manhunter was the first one to find something incredible. A kind of portal had been opened by the scientists there, and talking amongst themselves, they said that this portal would close in about 48 hours. Just just as Vandal Savage predicted. The scientists said that if they could control temporal fluctuations, time travel would be a reality. And suddenly, the other superheroes invaded the place. The guards began attacking them, and the Batman had to help them. Quickly, all the guards were defeated, and the Martian Manhunter told them that the portal contained a kind of black hole. It made a tunnel leading directly to the past. That's how they managed to alter reality and change the course of the war. Martian Manhunter wants to go back in time and undo everything that this Vandal Savage has done. They only have 48 hours to succeed. Everyone has to try this. Before they left, Batman asked if the reality that he lives in is all a lie caused by someone who went back in time, and the Martian Manhunter tells him that's exactly what happened. Batman hopes that if they go back in time, maybe they can save his parents, but he won't go with them. Someone has to stay there to fight against Vandal Savage in case their plan goes wrong. The Martian Manhunter says that if they change the past, maybe Batman never existed, but the man says that nothing would make him happier than that. They all then cross the portal to go straight to the past. They arrived in Germany during World War II. The American army was fighting against the German army, but something was different. Huge tanks appeared in that place. They possessed technology that didn't exist at that time and easily destroyed all the tanks from the United States Army. The superheroes had to intervene to save the soldiers. The Flash was the first to fall, and Wonder Woman had to save him. Superman tried to stop the tank, and to help him, the Martian Manhunter managed to hack into the device and disable it internally. Thanks to that, the superheroes joined forces and brought down the gigantic war machine. All the soldiers were very happy and thanked the superheroes. The Martian Manhunter then explained that he managed to remove a set of transistors from inside the vehicle's panel, but they were only invented after the war. The Martian Manhunter says that perhaps the person who came from the future may have arrived in that place years before the Justice League. Before they could do anything else, other giant war tanks appeared to attack them. The Martian Manhunter will leave them there fighting those tanks and will fly to Berlin, the capital of Germany, to get answers for everyone's questions. Wonder Woman couldn't let him go alone and decided to join him. Meanwhile, back in the capital, a man came to inform the German leader that costumed fighters had managed to destroy several of his tanks. The leader, named Vandal Savage, said that it's just enemy propaganda, and one of his generals asked what if it's not propaganda? What if these people are actually super powerful? But Vandal Savage told him that he created weapons far more powerful than anyone else. They can come and they will be destroyed. In order to demonstrate his powers, Vandal Savage destroyed the general who dared to question him. Suddenly, everything started shaking. A man had planted explosives in the capital and was escaping in a plane. The soldiers tried to stop him, but he managed to shoot down one of them and take the plane to escape. Unfortunately, he was surrounded by other German planes and had to fight them off. Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter arrived safely, and at that moment, the man sacrificed himself to destroy one of the planes. He was about to fall and lose his life, but the Martian Manhunter and Wonder Woman managed to save him. As soon as he woke up, the man thought Wonder Woman was an angel, but she quickly said that he didn't die yet. The man then explained that all these soldiers were after him because he had managed to obtain a certain device they wanted. That man had already discovered that they were planning to invade England, and with that device, he could find out when and where it would happen. But to do that, he would have to go to France to find a certain man who knew how to decipher any kind of code. The man then introduced himself as Trevor, and at that moment, Martian Manhunter appeared. He asked where those weapons are coming from, and Trevor told him that Vandal Savage made all these weapons. He has a lab in the capital, but Trevor warned that the superheroes would never be able to invade that place. He himself had already tried and never succeeded, but the Martian Manhunter says it will be much easier for him. After all, he can phase through walls. We see that this is exactly what the Martian Manhunter did. He broke into the secret lab lab and found a laptop. Then he went through another door and found something even more impressive. The former leader of Germany during World War II was frozen in a secret compartment. Before the Martian could escape, he was caught by that technological weapon from Vandal Savage, and meanwhile, huge tanks were destroying the battlefield and the superheroes were trying to defend everybody. The Green Lantern blocked many shots to save people, but ended up draining his ring's battery. He asked Hawkgirl to get one of the soldiers out of there and said that he would be fine. But after that, he was surrounded by many other tanks, and meanwhile many of those tanks were on the beach, destroying all the Allied forces that arrived during the D-Day, and their superheroes were still trying to save the people they just rescued. And Hawkgirl told Flash that she had to leave Green Lantern behind. The Flash went back to look for his friend, and while he was gone, planes arrived to continue the attack. The superheroes had to stay behind. The Green Lantern was still being chased by those tanks, and the Flash arrived to look for him, but the Green Lantern had just fallen into a muddy river. The superhero couldn't find him, and meanwhile Superman and Hawkgirl were destroying German planes until they received help from some Allied pilots. Together they managed to destroy all these enemy planes, and the soldiers were extremely happy. Wonder Woman took Trevor to France, where he would meet the man who can decipher any code. They entered an abandoned house waiting for this man to appear. He will be able to decipher that communicator and find out Vandal Savage's plan. At the same time, Flash returned to where the superheroes were and said that he couldn't find the Green Lantern. All of this is Hawkgirl's fault, but she said that she did it for the sake of those soldiers who would have died if the Green Lantern hadn't sacrificed himself. Then, those airplane pilots landed nearby and introduced themselves to the superheroes. They are soldiers all around from Europe and joined forces to fight Vandal Savage. They call themselves the Blackhawks. Hawkgirl is eager to help them, and we see that the Green Lantern was still hiding from the German army and was suddenly found by the American army. He introduced himself as a United States Marine and said that he could help them. To prove his abilities, he even defeated one of those soldiers in combat. And meanwhile, Vandal Savage told the Martian Manhunter that he will transform the world into a better place, allowing only superior men to remain alive. Martian Manhunter knows very well that he came from the future and brought a computer to alter the past. Vandal Savage then explains that in 60 years, this computer will just be a child's toy, but today it's the most powerful weapon on the planet. He then explains that he received this computer as a gift from his future self. Vandal, from many years in the future, managed to find a way to open a portal to the past and sent this computer with all the information he would need to win the World War and become the most powerful man in the world. His future version told him everything that would happen, and it was thanks to this that Vandal Savage gained control of Germany. Now he wants to know how many friends the Martian Manhunter has and where they are hiding. But since the superhero won't tell him, Vandal Savage summoned his employee responsible for extracting information from his prisoners, and he's going to get to work. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman and Trevor was still waiting for the man when suddenly they were attacked by the Germans. They must have found the man who was supposed to meet Trevor, and to allow Wonder Woman to escape with that device, Trevor will create a distraction. He kisses her and then runs outside. All the soldiers tried to eliminate him, but Wonder Woman decided to show up to help him. She easily defeated all the soldiers, and Trevor was really impressed. Wonder Woman then asks one of them where Ernest, Trevor's contact, is. Back in the capital, that Vandal Savage employee finished gathering all the information from the Martian Manhunter and then left the place, but the soldiers heard a noise in the room and decided to investigate. In fact, the Martian Manhunter has switched places with that employee and escaped. Hawkgirl and Superman went with the Blackhawks to their secret base. They showed them all the information they gathered about Vandal Savage and say they can destroy one of his weapon factories if the superheroes can destroy all the anti-air weapons. Superman assures them he can, and at that moment, Vandal Savage found his computer destroyed. One of his generals says the prisoner escaped. Vandal Savage knows that Martian Manhunter has a lot of information soon, and he will have to prematurely start the Operation Endgame. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman and Trevor arrived at the place where the Germans were holding Ernest, and after infiltrating the place, they reached the cell but realized that it was all just a trap. Several tanks arrived to destroy them, and Ernest said that the Germans knew they had a communicator and that's why they wanted to get it back. Wonder Woman asked Trevor for the communicator and removed a part of it. The attack began immediately. Wonder Woman managed to protect them both from the destruction of that place, and after the Germans destroyed the building, they approached and found a piece of the communicator. They thought it had been destroyed and told Vandal Savage that everything was fine. No one will be able to decipher their communications. Now he can begin the attack. But after the tanks left the place, we see that Wonder Woman and the man were still alive. The communicator wasn't destroyed, and Ernest will be able to decipher it. Meanwhile, Superman, Hawkgirl, and the Blackhawks attacked the Vandal Savage's weapon factory. The Flash was also with them and ordered all the workers to evacuate the place. This operation was a success, and the heroes were shocked to discover that Vandal Savage was building jet engines in that factory. That technology is far too advanced for that period. The Martian Manhunter arrived at that moment to warn that Vandal Savage had brought this information from the future and was about to use those engines. Meanwhile, Green Lantern and his group of soldiers managed to reach the secret warehouse where Vandal Savage kept his most powerful weapons, bomber planes that are completely invisible to radar. He was going to start the attack with these planes, and finally Ernest managed to decipher the communicator's code and discovered that the invasion was happening right now. England is not Germany's target. They are going to invade the United States. Wonder Woman had to hurry to warn the other superheroes and had to abandon Trevor. At that moment, Vandal Savage arrived at that secret location to begin the invasion, and the Green Lantern, along with the other soldiers, began attacking them to stop him. Unfortunately, Vandal Savage managed to get into one of the bombers and began his journey, but Green Lantern wouldn't let him go alone. The man managed to get a motorcycle and boarded the plane. Meanwhile, the Blackhawks went to the superheroes and said that they had managed to intercept a communication and discovered that Vandal Savage was going to invade the United States. The Flash raced across the ocean to warn the United States of what was about to happen. The Green Lantern, who was inside the bomber, began destroying all the devices to try to make the bomber crash. Vandal Savage realized what was happening and sent his soldiers to investigate. They quickly found and captured the Green Lantern. Vandal Savage then began attacking the Green Lantern to find out everything he knew, but the man wouldn't reveal anything. Suddenly, everything began to shake. The bomber was being attacked by Superman, Hawkgirl, and the Martian Manhunter. Shortly after, Wonder Woman also appeared to help them. There are many bombers. They will have to split up to destroy them. Each one of them will attack one of the planes, and Vandal Savage is completely desperate. He then activated the jet engines of the bombers to escape the superheroes, and some of the bombers managed to advance, but they were surprised by the gunfire from the United States Navy. The Flash managed to warn them in time. The Green Lantern recovered, defeated the soldiers inside the bomber, and then used a weapon to destroy the command center. Vandal Savage managed to attack him, but the Green Lantern defended himself. The bomber will fall, and with his powers, the Martian Manhunter discovered that the Green Lantern was inside of it. Hawkgirl appeared at that moment, destroyed the bomber's glass, and managed to rescue the Green Lantern. Vandal Savage remained inside the bomber, which sank into the ocean. Can an immortal man be killed? I don't think so. The superheroes didn't even need to chase the last bombers, as the Blackhawks destroyed all of them. After Vandal Savage was supposedly destroyed, his generals had no other choices but to free their former leader. The superheroes used the portal to return to the future and discovered that everything was the same it was before. The normal Batman was already there, and Superman even hugged him. Everyone is happy except Wonder Woman. She went to a nursing home to visit Trevor, and he was overjoyed to see her. Thanks for watching.